going to Zechrenes, I think I was probably at the first סיום הרמב that ever took place, and it was also before the Asfala of the next Matzah. It was in Buffalo, Tavshin Amei, and it was also earlier, it was all Shakla Vatari, whether to make it or not. I also want to mention that the actual Sikha 40 years ago, Tavshin Amdal, I was at that Fabrein, and I remember when the Rebbe spoke about the Rebbe, gave a little smile beforehand. The Rebbe gave a little smile. I remember the Rebbe gave a little smile, and the Rebbe said he has a hatzah. It's a hatzah. And the Rebbe spoke about the Rambam. I remember people walked out and had no idea what it meant to finish the Rambam in a year. That means like everybody has to quit their job or something or learn 8 hours a day. So people didn't really have any idea. I had heard from Rabbi Nishnik Olav Shalom, this was before the Konas Rambam, so a few years before. And he said he always saw his father before he was going to sleep at night. He always saw a Rambam, and he was learning Rambam, Allah Seder. And he asked his father, "What are you doing?" And he said he decided that B'Sa'ad Seif Yomov, he was elderly, he was on in years, he wanted to go through Kol HaTeirah Kula, learn the entire Rambam from beginning to end. So he told me, he says, "Beidel," he says, can you imagine learning the entire Rambam? I said, okay, learn the entire Rambam. But then a year or two later, it came out that we did Rambam. So it came out, it's something which is doable. As we heard before, that the union of 40 is L'Kol Mina Shtayt L'Darabim. So the Gemara, there's a Machlekes Rishonim, what it means, Arboim Shnim. Does it mean until you turn the age of 40? Or does it mean you have to learn for 40 years? Machlekes, how to learn Pshat. But here we have 40 years of learning. And the Zinyan from Daita Darab is not only V'chala, Bigi, in any Indian Limra Torah, but frankly, we're talking about Rambam, that the whole Indian Limra, the Rambam again and again is talking about Das. We'll get to Raschol in a second. I always thought it was strange. It comes to Aschol, everybody starts, you say this, it starts with the beginning of Hilchos Yasei Datei. So first of all, you have Sefer Amada, and you have, if you begin Sefer Amada, so you have to say all the halachas of Hilchos Yasei Datei, and Hilchos Deis, and so on and so forth, so that everybody skips. But then we have 4 days beforehand, we have the Hakdamas HaRambam, and then we have the Mitzvah Sasei, Mitzvah Leis Sasei, with all the 4 days of Hakdamas. So, okay, and they never put this in the Morashir, so L'chura, I always wonder why it is that people start, why L'chura should start at the beginning. So I have a remes. And all the Kisviyat Tema, all of the books of Rambam begin with a pasuk, B'Shem Hashem Keil Eilu. Beginning of every Sefer. The one exception is the beginning of Sefer Amada. So all 13 Sforim after Sefer Amada start off at the beginning, before the Keppel, Sefer Mishpatim, B'Shem Hashem Keil Eilu, Sefer Mishpatim. The pasuk, Rambam always brings a pasuk before him. Someone spoke, why Dafka say a pasuk from Tanakh, not from Chumash. In any case, the Sefer Amada is not there. Where is it? But Pashtus, it's there because right before the Hakdama, the Rambam writes B'Shem Hashem Keil Eilu. So it's over there. So that's the beginning of Sefer Amada. That's the B'Shem Hashem Keil Eilu goes to Sefer Amada because it says at the beginning. So maybe that's why we could jump straight from there. After Ula Yesh Lemer to the beginning. The Indian, I came across a letter, a very interesting letter from the Rebbe, tying in as well as Rambam with Purim. I say this like about Amud HaChachmas. It's I don't know why it's not in Igris, but it's printed in Luchot Sichas. And it was a letter to a general of an Israeli military base, and he wrote a letter to the Rebbe thanking him for sending Chassidim there. And the Rebbe thanked him for his, the Rebbe expressed his appreciation for the positive feedback and so on. And it was right before Purim, this letter was Tesod of Tafshin Lamed Hey. And the Rebbe spoke about how we see in Purim, you have two extremes. You have the Inyan that was a mess. On the other hand, you had to have Pulas TVs. You had to have natural There were all sorts of ishtatlusim that were done, and when it came time to fight, everybody had to defend themselves, and they took out arms and they stood on Madam Nafsha, and they defended themselves. So you needed both. You need the pulas which were higher than Derech HaTeva, and then you also needed the pulas with Derech HaTeva. So the Rebbe said, at the beginning of Rambam, you say this, so the question is, it's in the first mitzvah is Leidas Hashem, the first of the Taryag mitzvahs. So it's famous ה44, it's quoted in the Mitzvah Sefer, the Rebbe spoke about it many times. But how is it shaykh to have a mitzvah if you don't believe? If the first mitzvah is to believe in Hashem, so then how could you have a mitzvah if you don't even, you fulfilled it at the same time you did the mitzvah? You have to believe in Hashem before you can be makayim the mitzvah. That's a prerequisite to fulfilling the mitzvah. You look at Sefer HaMitzvahs, it says the mitzvah, the first mitzvah is lahami, is to believe in Hashem. So ה44, the famous ה44 asked the question, spoke about many places. So the kid said that the biur is that it says Leda, the Lashon Das, is something which comes after the Emunah. That's you say this Vamuda Chachmas, Leda Sheishim Motzerishin. So that's already after you had the prerequisite of the Emunah Pshuta. The Emunah Pshuta comes first, and then you have the union of Das. And the Rebbe brings different biurim. It brings from the Rebbe wrote Tavshin Vav. So for Renfern, later on it came out, the Rebbe brings over there also, there's different terutzim, that first was written in Arabic, wasn't so much b'diuk, and b'chal, the Rambam was not medayik in Sefer HaMitzvahs like he was in Mishnah Torah, it was written in Lashon Kodesh, and also Yeshem, the Rebbe brings down that they said the proper Arab translation, the translation of the Arabic is really l'chatchila, it's not lahami, it's ladas. The same word, Kapach writes in his introduction, in his Targum, and from Chaim Heller also has the same Nakuda. But he writes that Munas V'deis, that upside you're going, it's a Munas V'deis. It's two different words. Yeah? The word for deis is the same word that Rambam used to say for the mitzvahs, for das. So it's not a Munas, it's das. The Kitzur, the Rebbe said that you have the inyan which is higher than Seichel, which is the Emunah Pshuta, which is al derech inyan from the Nes from Purim, and then they have the inyan of Poshet knowing, of knowledge, later Sheisham Motzerishan, and that's the inyan that it's Nimshach, that you have to do Pu'ulas more and say the Rishtalshus. The Rebbe says a Vart over here. The Rebbe says, you say this, Vamud HaChachmas, Loshen Rabbim, the foundation of all forms of knowledge. Keilu gam chachmas tachsise milchama. Also the amud chachmas of military strategy. That you first have to have a mun and a beir elam. And you should know that the Eibush is going to make you matzliach. That you have to have a strong army and you have to be able to defend yourself and so on and so forth. But the yesod of everything is the amunah pshuta, that the Eibush is in charge and the Eibush is going to make you successful. There's another nakuda that the Rebbe mentioned Tavshin Mantes. I think it's a Indian Vasat done Ma'aser B'Peil that every year the Rebbe said you should learn learn the Rambam, whichever level live with your arm to add on. So the Rebbe mentioned that the Indian of Das, which also we see at the beginning, right at the very first halacha, in the beginning of Sefer HaMadda, and also see Molar Deis Hashem, commandment and Machasim. So we have Das at the beginning and Das at the end, and Das everywhere in between. So the Rebbe points out that Rambam says, Hilchos Tmura, the Rebbe made a whole kav in the Sichas about the Rambam. But the Lashon is, Yerei Din HaTeira, Ein an El L'Saken HaDeis, U'L'Yasher Kol HaMaisim. Now, the Yerei Din HaTeira is in order to straighten out our Deis, again the word Das, and L'Yasher Kol HaMaisim. One said it's a Rebbe, it's a tshuva. And the Rebbe mentions over here that the Indian of Yediyas Hashem has to translate down into your daily maisa, l'sakin es hadeyas, u'l'yasher es ha-maisim, which is all that Rebbe Sichas brings down a practical heirah from the Limud Rambam. And today you have it, you have Parts HaMelech, and you have in the Dvar Malchus, along the daily Rambam, practical heroes that they ever brought, the way to take lessons from the daily Rambam and bring it into your life. And the Rebbe says, through doing this, through bringing down the Yeseda, he brings it down, that the union of Yeseda or Yeseda is Vamuda Chachmas. And when you bring this knowledge of Hashem to penetrate your existence, that will in turn penetrate the existence of the world, and then the behavior of all humanity and the entire world will be Al Pi Ratzon Hashem. That it has an effect on the entire world. So it's another reason, aside from the Rebbe saying how important it is, and the Rambam saying how important it is, that the Hashpah and the Eilam, that anything we could do to add to the Shipur and Tikkun HaMatzav in the Matzav that it is in the world at present, obviously is adding on all that. So to read over here from the Haskalah, said it already a few times, but read it from inside. He said they say this, so the foundation of all foundations and the pillar of all forms of knowledge is to know that there's a first existence. And as the Rebbe says, Motzerishon, it's already that Hashem is in a place that we can grasp Him. Motzerishon, that is already not a Metzias like our Metzias, obviously, but is in a gather that it can be, in a certain extent, grasped through our knowledge. Motzerishon. And He brings everything into existence. And everything from the heavens to the earth and everything in between comes from only this Mechuyev HaMetzias, from the true existence of everything. And Hi Ratzon, we should see immediately the Gili, Kamayim L'Yom Machasim, the revelation of Hashem, and the Galus from Mashiach Tzidkeinu, take it from Yad Mamash. It's love and learn.
Before we go to our guest speaker, I want to thank some people some of those that helped sponsor tonight. Avrom Kohn, Abel Gansberg, Rav Gad Biton, Rav Dudi Slapochnik, Rav Dan Hajej, Rav Yehuda Genevish, Rav Shai Zurkin, Rav Shimi Trory. Thank you very much. He said not to mention, but I also want to mention Rav Shmuel Zalmanov, who's the main organizer of this event. If you look at the flyer that went out, the invitation to Hazmon, to let everybody know where and when the Sima Rambam is, so it says here, who's the guest speaker? So you can make a little diuk over here. He's not a speaker, but the guest, he's not. Because we have this year homegrown talent, somebody originally from Montreal, who learned here in Montreal many years. He grew up here in Montreal. And it's my big schus and honor to call Rav Nachum Mendel HaKoyin Koyin, the Shliach of the Rebbe to Sacramento. He's in Sacramento, California, the capital of California. Mechaber Sefer Margos Menachem and the Rambam. And it's my great honor to call him to address the Olam. Rabbi Cohen.
L'chaim, Mazel Tov. Kayde Kehila, where I grew up in, and b'tocham, my teachers, my mashpim, Rabboni, Manash. It's an honor to be here at the סיום הרמב. And I was very taken by the words of Reb Chaim Shpiegelman. The fact that he enjoys Rambam makes a lot of sense. Because I was sitting with Reb Chaim at a Fabrengen. We said a lot of L'chaim and Anshe Lubavitch. And Reb Chaim revealed a secret. The cat is out of the bag. I hope you don't mind. That in order to fly to the Rebbe, you had to learn 300 blot Gemara Balpeh. So he learned 150 blot. He didn't make it to get the ticket to the Rebbe for Tishrei. He came next year to the Mashpim, and he said, I hope my 150 last year could count for this year. I learned another 150. So they made it, and they said no. They made him learn another 300 blot. So if you learn so much Gemara, you cannot but just love the Rambam. But how did you have the seichel that when a letter came from the Masach Nasa, you didn't go hire the best attorney. You wrote that settled to the Rebbe, Haleini Mikabel Alatzmi. Because this is so unbelievable that you thought of it. And this is our weapon against everything, the Rambam. So, God bless you, you're a real inspiration. The truth is, we find this in a Gemara in Tumura. There's a very beautiful Gemara. The Gemara says, Sholesh meis halochis. They forgot 300 halochis. Bimei evle shel Meishe, bimei evle shel Yeshua, different Gersois. And the Gemara says that Kulam, all these 300 halachas, Asniel ben Kenaz, brought them back mipilpula shel Teda, because it says that he conquered the city Kiryas Sefer. It says twice. It says in Yeshua the story, and it says in Shoftim the story. The Marsha over there, Chidushi Agodis, explains why does it say it twice? Because they're two separate stories. One is the story that he brought back, Mipilpula Shel Teda. He brought back those 300 halachas, Kiryas Sefer, and another part of the story is that he conquered the city Kiryas Sefer. So there's a beautiful, the Mezritcher Maggid says, why did he need to learn those halachas in order to conquer Kiryas Sefer? Because without Teda you cannot conquer anything in life. We know Moshe Rabbeinu told Klal Yisrael after the Chet HaMeraglim, they wanted to go conquer Yisrael. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, V'hi lo yisitzloch. You cannot do it because the Alei Bris Hashem is not with you. What is the Alei Bris Hashem? Taichto Be'al Rebbe. In the Maimer V'Adarta Pnei Zokin L'Likutei Torah, that the Alei Bris Hashem is Tayag Mitzvahs Hatero Pirusheihe. So the Maggid says that you cannot conquer Eretz Yisrael. We all have, what's our Eretz Yisrael? Our Chelki Bo'elom. You get a letter. There's troubles with the Masach Nasa. There's something you cannot conquer. Learn the Tayag Mitzvahs HaTorah. This will give you the strength. This is our secret weapon that Rebbe gave our day to conquer anything. And I have great chaverim. I'll share with you a story. He was building a $10 million shul. and he took a loan for $9 million and the shell was there, but he couldn't use the shul. He needed the last $1 million to finish his shul. So I'm a yedid of his. I tell him, try this out. You should upgrade from 1 payday to 3 prakim a day. And see what happens, because the mortgage was very high and to take other loans was impossible. And he started learning 3 prakim a day. And he calls me up. This was Hanukkah. It was 3 months after he started. He says, Mendy, you're not going to believe what happened. The bank called me up, and the bank says, we don't like to hold a mortgage on an unfinished building. So here's $1 million. Finish your building, and we'll lower your interest rate, and you're good to go. And he said to me, it happened the day they learned Hilchis Chanukah in the Rambam on Chanukah. And it won't happen again for another 50 years. So he should know clearly that the Nes is from Rambam. The Rambam is the Arei Bris Hashem that helps us conquer the world, to do our Shlichus in Welt. And without the Rambam we cannot do it. The Rebbe, once you mentioned Reb Shmuel David Reichik, he would call Shluchim at 11 o'clock at night. Was gelernt Rambam. He would be me'ered the Shluchim. He once went with a couple that was infertile. They had problems, difficulty conceiving and having children. And the Rebbe told them to learn Rambam. And 9 months later, they conceived a child, and Rabbi Shmuel David wrote a zettel to the Rebbe. Could he be mefarsim this story? That the Rambam brings children, brings health. And the Rebbe told him, Avada, the Rambam is doch given a doctor. So, this is so powerful. Because if you think about it, the Gemara says in Shabbos Daf Lamed Gimel, that Rab Shimon bar Yochai said, Klum Odom Cheresh, Klum Odom Zereya, Teira Matehei Oleo, what's going to be with Teira? And Tzemach Tzedek explains in Derech Mitzvah that what's he talking about? Teira Matehei Oleo, he's talking about the mitzvah to know the whole Teira, which is almost an impossibility. It was difficult in the times of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. What are we going to say? Anan, Manana, Basrei. What are we going to say in our day? But since our day was Zeicher to something that no other day was Zeicher, because we have to finish the job, because we have to finish the job to conquer the world and bring Mashiach, we need the Arei Bris Hashem, we need the Kol HaTeira Kula. The Rebbe mentioned many times, Ein HaGoliyos Miskansos Elo B'Schus HaMishnayos. So the Rebbe said Mishnayos is Alocha Psuka. And that's Rambam. The Rambam helps us conquer Eretz Yisrael and bring Mashiach. This is what the Rebbe told us. Let me indulge you a little in a beautiful shtickle longus that the Rebbe said regarding Rambam. There's a famous machlekes of the Rambam and the Rosh. The Gemara says in Seitem that those people that paskin from Mishnayos, they're mivale elon. They rule the world. You can't paskin from a Mishnah. There's 2 opinions why you cannot paskin from a Mishnah. There is the opinion of the Rambam. And Alter Rebbe explains it in great depth in his Hilchos Talmud Torah. Because many Mishnayos, the Stam Mishnah is not like the Halacha. So you can make a mistake. The Rosh says, why can you pass him from a Mishnah? Because if you don't know the reason, you can make a mistake. So based on the Rambam, since he brings the halacha without any mistake, you can pass in halachas. So the Rebbe asked the question, if we pass in like the Rosh, and the only way we could know halacha is if we know the timing, so how could you say that by learning Rambam, you learned Kol HaTeira Kula? You don't know the timing necessarily. And the Rebbe explains in Lekutei Sichos that even though b'negea paskining you have to know well the halacha and all the timing, but b'negea the mitzvah of limud taryag mitzvah satero pirushehen, you're yetzer the mitzvah of Talmud Torah to learn Sifrei HaRambam. And the Rebbe is medayek it from the Sforim, from the Hilchos Talmud Torah, where the Alter Rebbe says to learn Sefer, Avodah, and Kedusha, and Hilchos HaRambam. So you're yetzer the mitzvah of learning the whole Torah. And our Deir Yosef was zeicher to this tremendous gift. I remember I was there Tavshin and Dalet when the Rebbe started the Mitzvah of Rambam. I had the schus to learn by Rabbi Gurkov, who's here with us. And we stopped the Seder in the afternoon for 4 days, for 4 hours. Every day we learned the Rambam. I still remember the Rambam, Rabbi Gurkov, that we learned in your class. And then came the letter that Rebbe, you remember, Rabbi Yisrael? Then came the letter that Rebbe, it has to be Chutz L'Sidrei Yeshiva. I remember learning those prokim in Yisei Atera, but we thought, how is it possible? It's not humanly possible. But the Rebbe gives us keches. And the Yetzer Hora is ha'umam bimlachte. The Yetzer Hora comes to us and says, the Yetzer Hora is ha'talmud chochem, it's ha'alatzoros. The Yetzer Hora says, how are you going to learn Rambam? Daftoch learn Torah Shebal Peh. And Torah Shebal Peh, you're only hurts if you understand. Rambam is not Tehillim. There was once a bochen. Rabbi Tzurber, you'll like this joke. He was learning Samach Vov. And he didn't understand what he was saying. So they said, what are you learning? So he says, what do you want from me? The Rasha began the Rambam from Chassidus. Versteht es nicht Rambam, versteht es nicht Samach Vov. It's only a Milsa de B'dichas. Anyways. Comes again the Yetzer Hora, and he says, Vos lernst the Rambam, you're not doing the mitzvah Talmud Torah Shebal Peh. But the truth is like this. Even when you start, and you only understand 15% or 10%, the next year you'll understand 20 and 30. After so many years, it comes clearer and clearer, and parts that you thought you'll never understand, like Kiddush HaChedesh. Today we have the Chitrik Rambam. Unbelievable. Everybody could grasp what's going on. It's such an unbelievable matona of Daloy Amaratzis. A Yid has a knowledge in the whole Torah. When you come to the mitzvah of Yedias Kol HaTeira Kula, to know the whole Torah, it says, Apel Nikazach, that you have to know the whole Torah, and Meil HaChochma HaChesiyat. Even if you wake you up in the middle of sleep, and you ask someone, are you allowed to marry your sister? He doesn't have to think, he knows, no! Vilman, a person, the Torah should be clear. Kol HaTeira Kula. By learning Rambam again and again and again for the 44th time now, it's such an invaluable gift. The Rebbe took us plumbers, the Deir Yosef, and gave us the gift of Limud Kol HaTeira Kula. And that gives us the strength to conquer the entire world. So whoever's learning one Pedic is better than nothing, but if you could advance the 3 Prokim, and like Reb Chaim Spiegelman told everybody, this is a secret for great brocha. Brocha to help you serve Hashem with less meniyas v'ikuvim. I knew another Rov who was building a big shul, and he learned one Pedic a day. I'm a little mechutzif. I'm a Talmud of his. I said, Rebbeinu, try 3 Prokim a day. And he didn't answer anything. I thought maybe he's upset. Who am I to tell him to learn 3 Prokim a day? I get a call 3 weeks later. Mendy, don't think I was ignoring you. I listened to you. I did it. And today I got a donation of $3 million to build a shul. Ma'aseh Shahoya, I'm just sharing with you little stories. But it's not money. I don't like to talk about money. It's about helping us do our Avodas Hashem and helping us conquer our Eretz Yisrael. V'al kula. What's bigger with the Rambam is the kesher to the Rebbe, the kesher to the Siyadeh. That's even greater. The fact when you learn Rambam, you're connected with the Rebbe, the Miyasid Atakonet. I remember when the Rebbe spoke about Rambam for many times, we had such a wonderful, it was so exciting to be those days by the Rebbe. I remember I had night activities Thursday night. What was it, my night activities? We would go visit the Misnagid Shebochnim and let them in London. And I remember the Misnagdim were against the Rambam because the halacha is not like the Rambam. So I remember the Rebbe then at a Fabregin said, so Dodi was fragen die Scheile, wie soll man kennen lernen Rambam? So the Rebbe says, don't bother answering them. Tell them they should look the first Sifri Shulchan Aruch. And over there in the Hagoras HaRamah, where the Ramah says, Shalisi Hashem Lenegdi Tomid, and they'll find an answer. And if they still don't have an answer, they should look at the Ramah again, and they'll figure it out. But to you, Kahala Dasach Sidim, I'll tell you the answer. It's as silly as saying, you shouldn't learn the Chumash, because you may make a mistake.